Hi, this is Becky with Icing on Top Becky's Cake, and today we're going to make a colorful llama cake. Now I use two 6-inch round cakes, and then I use the 6-inch half sphere dome. You can get that with the Wilton cake ball. It's about the 6-inch size. And so we put that on top, and I put icing in between each layer, and now I'm going to crumb coat it so it has something for the swirls and the llama fur to stick to. Right here I'm going to pipe some icing, and then I'm going to scrape it smooth. This is just going to be for the face, so we're just going to do it right on the front, and I'm going to scrape off most of this. And I'm going to use a wooden skewer after it's scraped to mark off where I want the front of his face to be and what kind of shape I want it. And so I'm just going to mark this area all off. Now I'm going to pipe on this area where I want his nose and mouth area to be. It's about a tan buttercream I'm using here and a large writing tip. And after I pipe it on, I'm just going to want to smooth it down a bit. Now I'm going to use a smaller writing tip than the one that I used for the tan. I'm going to draw on her nose and mouth here. And I'm kind of going to aim for the shape of a heart for the nose. And then I'm going to use a smaller writing tip than even this one to do the mouth and nose. And now I'm going to make the eyes with icing images and isomalt from Simi Cakes. And that's really easy because you just melt down the isomalt into a silicone bowl or any bowl that's easy to transfer to these little silicone molds I have here. These silicone molds are about 1 inch for each little sphere. And I also have a glaze spray that I'm going to need to use for that too. So after we melt it down, I'm going to wait till the bubbles are done coming to the surface. And then I'm going to pour it out into this little silicone mold. And it does come with directions, so that makes it really nice. The icing images, they come with directions, and so they'll tell you exactly how to do this part. And they say to first pour in the clear isomalt, and then we're going to cut out the eye that we want. And I picked the rainbow ones because I thought those would go great with these llamas. And then we'll put those in, and then we're going to add white isomalt over the top of that. So here's the icing image I cut out. I'm going to place that down so that the eyeball is facing down. And I'm tapping it in with my food tweezers because it just made it a lot easier than trying to use my fingers here. And then I poured white isomalt on top of that, and I let it harden. And now I used part of a skewer that I cut off. And since these already hardened, I waited till they hardened first. Then I added a little more white isomalt to the backs of my skewer, and I'm going to hold it in place until that hardens with the skewer in it. And so obviously that's why I waited till it was hard before I add these ones. But I use melted isomalt on the ends of these to stick to the isomalt that's already there. So I'm going to have to hold these in place for a little bit until they're completely hard. Now I can just pop them right out of there, and I'm going to use my blowtorch to clear up any bubbles and fogginess that is on the eyeballs. And after I do that, I'm going to want to spray it with an edible glaze spray, and that way it'll seal the moisture from getting back on these and fogging up against. So that's why you need the edible glaze spray. So, and also when you use your blowtorch, just do it real lightly because you don't want it to completely melt your eyes. And now going back to our cake, I'm going to pipe on a nice big circle with the tan icing where I want the eyes to be, and this will kind of just give a little bit of eye coverage for the llama. and we're gonna stick our skewers with our eyeballs straight into these. And then I'm gonna add just a little more of that frosting right around the eyes to kind of give them a better look, like the llama's fur is surrounding them. Then I'll kind of just smooth it out a little bit all around the edges too. Now we got all these colors, pink, yellow, blue, and purple, and we're going to start with purple at the bottom with our 1M Wilton tip. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to make perfect rosettes. I'm going to do some rosettes and some stars, just piping in place and kind of moving my hand back and forth because I wanted to give it a fluffy fur feel. Add the next color to the bag. I'm gonna make sure that I squirt it out a little first because I want to make sure I see both colors coming out when I'm piping. So let's do a little test squeeze. And there, it's ready. So then you'll see just a hint of that purple in the next line up. Now we're going to do the exact same thing with the yellow that we did with the blue and purple. So you can see just a hint of that blue in there, and it kind of gives us a little greenish look. So kind of like our rainbow effect going on here. So we're just going to pipe away with that yellow and with the hint of blue in there. And then we'll also repeat this process with the pink. So we'll get a little bit of that yellow in our pink. Now on the very top, I'm just going to use some Wilton's Candy Melts, and I'll melt it down and put it in a baggie and draw some triangles on a piece of wax paper. And when that hardens, I'm going to place skewers on that, and then place a little more over the top, a little more candy melt right over the top of that, so that it holds the skewers onto my ears, which are what these little triangles will be. I'll put them straight down into my cake and press them in, and then I'm going to use a little more frosting just to fill in any gaps I might have on top of those. What colorful llama cake would be complete without a little bit of diamond dust, which is from the Sugar Art Stores, 100% edible and is super cool. So I am totally going to use this. It's in a pump, so it's great because you can pump it right on and add a little bit of glitter and magic to this awesome llama cake. So please subscribe to my channel, though we have lots of fun tutorials here.